What's going on? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Please hit that like button. Make sure you sub to the channel if you are not a member, and hit the notifications to get all of my content, all of my videos. MLK Day today. I'm gonna talk about MLK in another separate video. I don't want to disrespect the great Dr. King like that. Talking about what I'm talking about. Um, It's funny though, man. Like on MLK Day, you would think like on a march and all that other stuff, people be getting along. Not where I was from, man. People were fighting, getting into it, all that. What up, Matt Moses? You know. What's up, Ted? Let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about the situation with Scottie Pippen and the Patrick Bet David interview. Now, first and foremost, Patrick Bet David. I mean, he's a great interviewer, but in this one, um, he was out of pocket just as much as Scottie was too. You said Scottie been pimping. He ain't pimping shit. If anything, I ain't gonna say simping, man, but Scottie is delusional, man. Okay. Here's my thoughts on the interview. First and foremost, man, the reason why Scottie is delusional and the reason why he was out of pocket because as much as Jordan was an asshole and Jordan was hardcore on his teammates and stuff like that, Scottie would get the impression that when they were younger, and playing with the Bulls tenure and stuff, that those guys were friends. But Scottie said the same thing that Dennis Rodman said. Dennis Rodman was candid and real about everything. He said, we did not have anything in common. I was just there to do my job and everything. But you never heard Dennis Rodman as much vitriol as the bad boy Pistons had towards MJ and the Bulls and stuff like that. You never heard Dennis Rodman disrespect MJ. You never heard that. And you know that Scottie wasn't even cool with Scott. Dennis Rodman and Scottie were at it with each other for a very long time. And the reason why I bring that up is because before Dennis Rodman came to the second three-peat Bulls, they had to okay it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And they went to MJ, and of course they went to Scottie or whatever, and they patched it up, and it was water under the bridge. MJ was fine with it regardless. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because there was a question in which Patrick Bet David, he did ask. Now, Patrick Bet David was being a little bit, annoying, asking the same questions, but trying to dig, beneath the surface and everything, saying, come on, Scottie, stuff like that. Now, that, I will say, that was kind of annoying. He should have just left it like it was. However, when he was saying how him and Mike weren't really close and stuff, he was capping on that. They had a close business relationship, like on the court and stuff, and they did party together and stuff. But they had a thing called the Breakfast Club. Okay, I want y'all to look it up. It's documented. It was Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. They had a thing called the Breakfast Club. And what they would do is they would train. That's why he said they started training more and working out more that second three-peat. But he said that he was closer to Horace. They would get up and train in the off season, and then afterwards they would go have breakfast after that. What's up, The Real? I see everybody up in here. You said I got yeah. You said no Lamar cap today. I'm gonna get on Lamar later. I'm gonna get on Lamar later, man. We'll talk about football later, but I want to focus my attention on this right here. Now, the reason why I didn't talk about it right away is because if you looked at the interview, the whole entire interview was about 2 hours, and he dove into everything. First and foremost, I don't agree with him about what he said about Victor Wembanyama scoring 100 points. Let me sum this up. I'm glad Tura had talked about this. Shout out to Tura. The only way, I'm not saying that it's not impossible, okay? I know y'all trip out when I say that shit. Guys are getting 70 points and stuff, so 30 more points, that would be nothing. However, if Victor Wembanyama had the mentality to just stay on the inside and score at will, and on top of that, he was shooting about, I would say, anywhere from about 39 to about well over 50%, and he's in a groove, and they're just feeding him. Maybe he could get close, but I really don't see him scoring, 100 plus points. Okay, so I'm gonna just get that out of the way. Another thing is with Scottie, man, you got to remember, man. 1 minute he sits up there and he says, "Okay, well, nobody's on MJ's level." Then another minute he's sitting up in there saying that LeBron James is a better player than MJ. Then he comes out and then he says, "Okay, well, I I got 6 rings, so I'm better than LeBron." Neither one of them should be, the GOAT and everything, because it's a team game and all this other stuff, whatever. So I can't take a guy seriously if he keeps going back on what he says and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We got to realize what he done been through. He done been, in my opinion, humiliated. When you talk about the situation with Larger Pippen and Future and Marcus Jordan, all that stuff that went on and stuff. He's been having, situations that, that's been taking place in his personal life. And then he felt like it was an embarrassment with the Last Dance and all that other stuff. I mean, he had a lot of anger and a lot of vitriol. And on top of that, we got to talk about the second fiddle, him being the Robin, so to speak, and him being, not the main guy, him being the counterpart, so to speak, and there's a lot of resentment there too. You take all that in there, he's gonna feel some type of way. You said salute Scottie jealous because Jordan is a superstar. Well, Scottie, listen, man. Scottie is a great player, phenomenal defender, but Scottie's problem, man, is that, when it came down to crunch time, you couldn't, he wasn't that type of player. In terms of him being a great, ball handler and him being a playmaker, because he was a point forward, and him being a defender, stuff like that, he was great. And I know what people are going to talk about, should he have been on the dream team? In my opinion, you could say yes, but I still think that Dominique Wilkins, had it not been for the Achilles tear, he would have been on there. And of course, I'm always going to go with Isaiah. And that's a whole nother thing too. Isaiah should have been on the dream team, man. And I always feel that way. But I always say this: I never had a problem with John Stockton and Magic Johnson on there. I never had it. I never had. I wasn't mad that John Stockton was on there, but I just felt like Isaiah should have been on there. I'm not. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna say he had a bag because he wasn't crafty like that, Chad. He wasn't as crafty. Like when you're talking about a bag, you're talking about making guys miss. You're talking about moves and you go back and go look at Jordan. You see the moves where they say ooh and stuff like that. Now, if you're talking about a package in terms of him going to the rack and finishing, yeah. But as far as the bag and the stuff that Jordan used to do, the stuff that Kobe used to do, stuff like that. I'm not. I can't put Scottie in there, because his offensive package was based on his. He excelled off of his defense, and he was better in transition. If you're talking about like hoisting the ball up and getting it to him like alley oop wise and stuff like that, yeah, he was very athletic. I mean, you're talking about a 6'8", 6'9". There's some things that Scottie does that reminds you a little bit of LeBron, with the exception of the defense. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about the transition and stuff, if you look at like Grant Hill and you look at Scottie Pippen, their games their games are very similar, except Grant Hill. Now, if you want to talk about a bag and who has a bag, it was Grant Hill. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to give a good comparison at that small forward position in terms of who had a bag. But um, Scottie is delusional, man, and he was out of pocket, man. I mean, look, bro, you sat up there and you said good and finished when you talk about the last time you spoke to um, Jordan and the last conversation you had with him was during the pandemic of 2020 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right now, at this point, I really don't know what to believe from Scotty. Then on top of that, you had the nerve enough to shit on Charles Barkley. It was just as much as your fault there too as well, because Charles Barkley said the same thing about you. You called Barkley lazy and all this other stuff. Barkley was still good for a double double when he played in Houston, despite being past his prime. All of y'all were a little bit, kind of past your prime or whatever. And then you can't talk shit about Charles Barkley because he was able to lead. He was able to lead his team. I mean, you led your team 1 year. You know what I'm saying? You had an opportunity to lead your team again. When you were with the Blazers, you weren't. I mean, you were a contributor, but you weren't the leader. You weren't the alpha on that team, and then of course Houston or whatever. But to me, that's not a really a great comparison because he did have injuries, that started to take a toll on his body or whatever. Still 16 and 11. Yeah, exactly. And I mean that's a Barkley. Barkley had he had a I think he started having back problems if I'm not mistaken. With Barkley, I think it was his knee or his back. I forget which one it was, but he had some injuries too. But you know that interview right there, man, it was nothing. And then of course he got some he got some stuff coming out. You know what I'm saying? He always does this before a book. That's why I say he's doing this for the clout, man. Listen, man, Scotty needs to be appreciative that he was on the dream team. That that he was, I know he doesn't like being called a sidekick, but I mean that's what people see you as because when given the opportunity to do it and to lead the team, you know what I'm saying? I mean you did it to a certain extent, but that's why Phil had called on Tony Kukoc, and you got mad, and you got mad at the organization. Then I also think about your ass doing a little, calling yourself being hurt and holding out and everything, and you put the weight on both Rodman and Jordan's shoulders. Yeah, he was the diva. You said Barkley, Cook, Pippen in the '93. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I'm gonna get into that. That's kind of a part one because I got to move on to the next topic. Look, um, listen, man. I'm gonna talk about Lamar first. Lamar Jackson. He had a horrible first half. Okay, he had a horrible first half, and it was on turnovers. He was getting lit up. They weren't running, the ball like they should have. Um, it was a lot of deficiencies with the Ravens or whatnot. However, they did make it up in the second half, but it was just too little, too late. Okay, now, do I have sympathy for Lamar? I'm not gonna say sympathy. Do I fathom with what he's going through right now? Yeah, I do. Um, Mark Andrews, Mark Andrews, we all know he should have caught that ball, but he was just as at fault. I'm talking about Lamar as Mark Andrews. It's like, okay, hey, I fucked up in the first half. I fucked up. I did this and all this other stuff or whatever. But now, you know what I'm saying? It's on you to catch the ball and stuff like that. And I think that was his number one target besides Likely. Um, should they have, you know, should they have ran the ball? That's the question. That's another question. Would that have been a better decision? And a lot of people, they probably would have said no, because they probably would have expected the obvious, which is to, get a ball to Henry or something like that, and then they probably would have already been on it. But Henry was struggling. I think Henry only had like 87 yards or something like that. He was struggling. Okay, it wasn't the Derrick Henry. I put to you like this: uh, Saquon Barkley thrived better in the snow and under this under more pressure than what Derrick Henry did. Okay, that's why, like, I don't feel that Lamar Jackson is worthy of an MVP. Okay, I know he's probably going to end up getting it, but it should be Saquon, because if you take Saquon off of that team, okay, you can take Lamar Jackson off that team, but if you take Saquon Barkley off of that team, they're not going to the NFC Championship. Okay, and I know it's tough for y'all to hear that, but they're not they're not going to the NFC Championship at all. And you also got to realize that Saquon was playing with a less than 100% Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was not 100%. He had got hurt. And now we got to see how that plays out when they get ready to play Jaden Daniels. I got Washington going to the Super Bowl. Okay, just to let y'all know, I got Washington going to the Super Bowl, and I got the Chiefs winning it again. Okay, I got the Chiefs beating the Bills. Okay, um, believe it or not, the pressure is on the Bills. The pressure ain't on Kansas City. And on top of that, they're going to Arrowhead. Josh Allen in the playoffs doesn't play good in Arrowhead. Well, the Bills, I should say. And then this is another thing. I've been hearing all this stuff about the refs, and all this other stuff. Look, man, y'all got to find another talking point, besides saying, yeah, Magic Mahomes. Yeah, listen, Pat Mahomes is is a better version of what Russell Wilson was in Russell Wilson in his prime. Russell Wilson, if you go back and you go look at Russell Wilson when he was with the Legion of Boom and with the Seattle Seahawks and everything like that, Russell Wilson, um, he didn't play that well during the like the regular season, but he would always heat up at the right time. Now he wasn't winning as much as Pat Mahomes or anything, but there would be some things that you would question Russell Wilson what he would, especially in the first half. But then he was clutch. Pat Mahomes is clutch. Everybody's talking about this is rigged and the refs and all this other stuff or whatever, man. Listen, man. That late hit, that was probably, that was questionable, but other than that, Pat Mahomes had came through late with Travis Kelce, and Travis Kelce actually woke up. You know what I'm saying? He woke up at the right time. You know what I'm saying? You can't rig him getting the ball to Travis Kelce. You can't rig special teams special teams play. You understand what I'm saying? You can't rig an offensive line and CJ Stroud, pretty much like I was telling Scrub and the guys on there, Scrub Zero, shout out to Scrub Zero and Jose and Outlaw, all them guys. You can't rig that. Yeah, like, oh yeah, the game is rigged. The game is rigged. Okay, so what are we gonna say about Mark Andrews? Oh, that was rigged. Come on, man. That was rigged. Lamar fumbling, that's rigged. Derrick Henry not having a good game, that's rigged. Saquon having 200 yards, 205 yards, that's rigged. Come on, man, you got to say something else other than that. Look, man, just say that the Chiefs just came through at the right damn time. No, it's not. People got to understand, man. I don't know if any of y'all have had a football thrown to you, but I damn near broke my finger at one time catching the football from this guy I used to throw the football to and everything, man. We would throw the football and everything, man, and it's not easy, and Ted, you bring that up in terms of it not being easy to catch a football in the cold. That's 100% facts, man. So, and then now you have guys that are playing in the snow and stuff like that. That snow, I think Outlaw had talked about it. Yesterday. Man, you start slipping on the snow, and the snow is slick and stuff like that, man. It's not an easy thing. So that's why, like, when I look at what Saquon did yesterday, how he was playing, despite everything happening, you have to give that man the MVP. You have to give him the MVP, man. But I can understand why Lamar Jackson was angry at the press conference. Everybody's like, oh man, he's so unprofessional, stuff like that. It's easy to say that, man, when you're not the one that could have been there again, facing Mahomes, or trying to get that ultimate goal. You did everything that you could. All it came down to is one catch. It's easy for you to be like, oh yeah, you got to remain professional. Dog, at least he faced the people. He faced the people. Go listen to Bob Knight's interviews. Go listen to a Bob Knight interview. back in the days after having to face questions and stuff. When they're angry after losing, go listen to it. But Lamar Jackson, because he frustrated and stuff like that. See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all want to take it to another level. Oh, angry black man, and all this other stuff. But see, when um, when the other color does it, oh, it's not a big deal. He's displaying passion and all this other stuff. Nah, man, I'm not going for it. So I know a lot of people are heated right now, man. There's a lot of people that don't really want to talk about this situation, man. And I can understand that. Some of y'all are mad because I was right, you know, and they don't want to face the music. I picked the Bills. I picked the Bills to win it. Did I want the Ravens in there? Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, so some of you guys, man, y'all gotta learn to understand that the game of football, man, it can be very unforgiving. Any sport can be unforgiving, but especially football, man. And it just so happens that what's it called? They struggle with situational football. Where is my truck? What the? All right, y'all. Straight to the point. I'm out, y'all.